the latest Inside Star Citizen. It's a bit longer video than what we've done so far, and let's see what they have to say. This looks like it's going to be about missions. So, Star Citizen and Inside Star Citizen. No, yeah, Inside Star Citizen.
Every time we talk to the folks at the mission feature
I like
team,
that shirt.
they've always got a number of interesting irons in the fire. And as they pursue work on the upcoming Alpha 320 and beyond, now is no different.
Are you guys excited for 320? Are you guys excited for 320? I'm excited for it. I just hope we don't get another wipe with it. That's what I'm really hoping not, but I think it's coming. But I'm excited for 320, even if there is a wipe.
So let's check in with them and get some updates on a few of the new features.
Oh, Evocati invitations went out yesterday or the day before. So Evocati 320 invitations went out. So, you know, if you are invited to Evocati, you know, keep an eye out in your mailbox, your email box for that. I'm not, but it would be cool if eventually one day I got to be Evocati.
They're working on, including one improvement to the law system that's a long time coming.
Paint stripper.
We've released the salvage contracts already, and you buy the contract from a contract broker, and it's just a transaction. You buy the rights to salvage, and you can just salvage at your own leisure. There's no risk. So we wanted to add a bit more variety.
Oh, there's the ones
legal
with
ones.
risk.
There's a timer with enemies, but once you get rid of them, like, that's it. So we added the cover-up missions.
It's an unlawful mission.
Injured,
The
I'm also
idea is
excited for
that
AC and 320.
Ninetales have committed a crime and want you to cover their tracks.
We know security is going to investigate the crime scene, so you're being hired to scrap all the identifiable markings and paint, and you have a certain time limit.
It's the first mission really to have fail timer. So if you don't take the skin off of a ship in time, the police will turn up, instantly clock it and say, you know, this is Ninetales and you'll have failed your job.
You fail the mission, you don't get paid, you have nothing to show for it. However, if you do successfully manage to completely wipe the ship clean, then you get paid because you rendered them service, which is also going to tie in with reputation, which the current contracts don't
It's all good on
implement
Pork
yet.
Chop. We had a
If
good
you
time
do
with
want
it.
to get greedy, you can still get greedy. You can still start taking parts off. That isn't part of a mission. You can still go aboard, and there's probably going to be, you know, really valuable things aboard.
What I like about
Okay.
this mission is that it's a bit of a precursor to how we want to start evolving the salvage missions as we go. Currently, salvage missions don't have reputation tied into them. You just buy the contract and you're done. But this is going to start our work.
Do you guys think that as of late, salvage has been getting a lot more love than any of the other game loops or professions within Star Citizen? To me, it feels like it's getting all the love right now. You know, mining did get a big overhaul, but it seems like every other week it's salvage, 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 salvage. I'd like to see some work done on bounty hunting. Maybe there is. I don't keep up with the roadmap and everything as much as I should, but I'd like to see some work being done on other professions other than just salvage and mining. Now, I don't think they're going to be touching mining again for quite some time, but as I said, to me, it just feels like it's always salvage. As I said, I could be wrong. I'm not up to date on the roadmap. I'm not up to date on all the dev tracker stuff, but it does seem very salvage heavy as of late.
Towards having more reputation scopes, you're actually going to have rewards coming in with finishing these missions. There's actually going to be a reason for doing these in the long run.
One of the things we'd
50K.
noticed
It's not
is
bad.
that even though they're salvage missions, now that you can take cargo off and weapons off, people are actually leaving the skin. They weren't using the salvage beams as we imagined they would.
But that's what salvage is, though. You're taking the useful parts of the ship and moving on. The skin isn't useful. The RMC isn't useful. The guns and the cargo is useful. And in a limited economy that you've created for us, that's the only thing we want it for, is to either put on our ships or sell it because it was worth a lot more money. It was worth more money than skinning the whole ship. So, but to me, that is salvage. And I think it's a little it's a little bit crazy that the guns were nerfed into the ground so hard as far as what you can get for them when you sell them. But you know, what do I know? I'm not a game dev, but just it kind of sucks that you find something useful on a ship that either you can use on your own or you can sell, and they're like, nah, we want you to take the paint off the ship. I don't know. I disagree with it, but I'm not the game developer.
It's been nice that we can actually make that part of the mission. We can make the feature the mission critical aspect.
Hand salvage, from what I'm told, is not worth it, Indrid. That's what I've been told. I don't, you know, if somebody here in chat or somebody watching can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, it is not worth it. Ooh, yes, this is what I want to see.
With Siege of Orison, we built these new Crusader platforms. You've definitely seen Solanke platform, Brushwood, Heartmoor, and building those, we essentially got all of the building blocks required to expand Crusader.
Can you guys just, here's my complaint about it. That looks good. I like fighting on these platforms, but here's what I want to see. Can we stop? Can we either build the assets thicker, air quotes, or make them bulletproof? Because I'm really getting sick and tired of having the AI shoot me through multiple walls. I don't even know they're there. Like they're in a one of the spawn closet elevators, and they just shoot straight through the side of the elevator, through like this pillar, through some chairs and another wall, and hit me right in the head, and I'm dead. That I would like to see changed. It's the dupers, man. I saw it happen on No Man's Sky back in the day. Duping brings nerfs and wipes. The problem is, Mangies, is that as long as this game is in an alpha and it keeps going down the path that they're going, there's going to be dupes, there's going to be exploits with everything. From my understanding is that dupes have gone back for a couple of years now, and some of the dupes have also gone back a couple of years now. They haven't gotten rid of them. So, you know, we'll see what happens with that. But I have a feeling that as long as this game is in alpha and eventually in beta, a lot of the dupes and exploits as far as making money are not going to go away. I think if there was a better economy other than just make fake spacebucks and use those fake spacebucks to buy ships, there was player-to-player trading, and there was actually value to some of the items within the game, you would see less of that. But that's just my opinion. I really don't know if that would help. I think it would, but I don't know if it would help. Okay, we're dropping the A2 bomb. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. There's some fun ways to do it, to handle it.
Even further.
We made Inspiration Park, which is a whole collection of 4 platforms and a whole bunch of buildings. Then we started doing platform infiltration missions on them. The problem with that is that every time a mission location is used, it can't be used by another mission at that point. It's kind of reserved. So if 2 people do that, that's already 6 buildings out of the rotation, which limits a lot of the buildings. So what we decided is to have several more of these platform parks.
Here's my thing. I'd like to see the platforms brought in closer. I'm not saying close enough that you can shoot off of one platform to the other, but close enough where I don't have to take a 2.5-minute tram ride from one platform to the next platform. Just look at how far that is. You can't see where I'm pointing on the screen, but look at how far those 2 platforms are in the background. It's a 2-minute, 3-minute tram ride. I could be exaggerating a little. Maybe it's like 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, but you have to take 1.5 minute to 2-minute tram ride between all of the platforms when Siege of Orison's going on. It gets really annoying really fast. The other thing I would like to see changed is all these platforms generally look the same. The layouts are different and the buildings are slightly different. But when are we going to get some like industrial stuff on some of these? Like we've seen over by where what is it? Counting Crows, not Counting Crows, Counting Cousin Crows over on the Providence platform, how industrial that area looks. We need some industrial areas to do some of these gunfights in on these other platforms. I think that would be cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. Squirrel. I'm gonna really have to check that out. But I would like to see different variations to these platforms. That's all I'm saying.
We really just wanted one location that would be for Siege. We intended to copy and paste those all over the place.
Don't copy and
new
paste,
formations. And that would mean that the Siege Islands would just be for Siege, so that the event and the missions don't have to share the same location. We knew we could then like take those islands, reconfigure them, and then just like place them all over Crusader.
Using multiple locations around Crusader spreads players out more, which helps performance. And we kind
So
of...
if I'm hearing this correctly, it sounds like they're going to be moving platforms all over the entire planet of Crusader, so they'll be all over the place. If that's true, then, you know, Crusader's a gas giant. Maybe there should be some areas where you could take a prospector or something like that and be able to mine different gases. Or, you know, God forbid I give CIG any ideas. Come out with another JPEG that you can pre-order and pledge for, and then use that to suck up gases and turn that into a sellable and refinable material. Lord help me. Still learning Orison made it my home city in 319.1 for the bounties and holy spacebucks. Yeah, Crusader is a fantastic area for running the spaceborne bounties because the moons have little to no atmosphere, so it's not slowing you down going from place to place to get these bounties. You generally have you can generally get in and out quicker. And then one of my favorite things to do in combination with bounties is the service beacons. Man, money right there. Money right there. But yeah, if they're spreading these out all over Orison, we should get industrial platforms. We should get habitation platforms. We should get the commercial platforms like we kind of already have. But then areas to like mine or get some sort of extractable for selling. That's my opinion. I think we should get that. Every other planet has it. You know, even on Hurston, you can go down and mine. You know, you don't just have to do the bunkers and the bounties that spawn in the air over Hurston. You can, you know, do other things. Don't drink the tuna juice.
I wanted to
It's like the Kool-Aid here.
use the planet itself more as well.
The intent was to
Good
run
morning,
Siege
Marcus.
for 319, but unfortunately we weren't able to hit that. We ended up in a very awkward position where we had disabled the ability to have the current missions that went out on those islands in 318 available in 319, and we also didn't have the other islands placed. So we just had to turn those missions off completely until we get these new floating islands. So we made the decision to add more islands all around Crusader. It allowed us more freedom, like we can tell different stories.
Interesting. Okay, so that sounds really cool, and I'm glad, you know, maybe that's them admitting another failure again. You know, they weren't able to get it out in time, so instead of running Siege of Orison, instead of instead of running Siege of Orison and instead of running or giving us a half-finished platforms across Crusader, they just said, nope, we're not doing it, pulling it, we're going to add them, we're going to put them in 320. So that sounds cool, and I'm actually kind of excited for that. As I said, my little caveat to that is give us some industrial platforms, give us maybe a way to mine gas or collect gas or whatever you would call it, and be able to refine it and sell it. But, you know, it'd be pretty cool. Let me catch up on chat here real quick. Heavy fighters are going to be meta for the dogfighting. Yeah, probably. Good morning, Immersed. How you doing? Why do we call it dogfighting? Is when dogs can't fly? You know what? That's a good question, and I don't know. I don't know. Before we move on, guys, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and if you're on Kick, hit that follow button. I'd appreciate it. Thank you guys.
The new consignment mission involves VIP
Enjoy your lunch,
dispensers that you've seen
sir.
at Jumptown and in Korea.
The consignment missions are made by Max.
You'll be tasked with going to the UGF to retrieve a mission-critical item.
There's several NPCs walking.
Now this I'm excited for. The Space Station Korea, the consignment mission, like the mission there, it's cool, but it takes a large group to do it, and it takes a large amount of time because the enemies constantly respawn. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, for me, and you know, you guys all know I game with Marcus a lot and with Canop a lot and Star-Lord a lot, but getting us all on at the same time, at the same hour, ready to do the same thing is kind of difficult. So I would like to see this done. I really can't wait to do these. Like, go down here, get these mission criticals, and get those done.
Walking around, either security guards or other NPCs, and several of them will be carrying data pads with a code on them.
By taking the tablets on them, players can see these codes.
You will have to sift through multiple codes to find that item.
Think of it as an Amazon locker where you have a code for your delivery. So you have to look on a tablet, which code hold which set of items. You go to a terminal, enter the code, and then it starts spitting out these objects one by one.
You can type that code in and like stop it halfway through and then type the code in again and get the other half of the consignment out. The consignments can be found in various places. Like, there's a lawful mission where you go and the security occupants of a UGF have been killed by the Ninetails. So there's all these corpses around, and you have to go searching through them while fighting off the Ninetails to find these data pads. And, you know, scanning through the data pad, and you're finding whether it's got the mission critical items that you're looking for, or maybe just some really valuable items,
some
for things like
variation to the bunkers
and Dollarvy and things like that you usually only find in.
You are correct, Marcus, but and you know, maybe it's just low hanging fruit, and because we're so used to, how do I word this correctly? We're so used to just the lowest form of content that any content is exciting. I find this exciting. It's a different, because I run a lot of bunkers. Everybody, if you watch here, I run a lot of bunkers. So it's kind of interesting that we get some new missions other than the same. I think it's 4 that we have. You know, you get the mercenary ones: assist in defending side, guard against the threat, guard against the hostiles, guard against the extreme hostiles, or whatever they call it. Evict the illegal occupants and the drugs. Those are the only 4 that we get. You know, this will be more interesting. But Marcus, at the same time, with what we do, this means people are going to be down in the bunkers for longer periods of time. It's not going to be a simple go smash, 10 guards, turn around and run out. People will be in these bunkers searching and looking for a long time. So that gives more target opportunities.
Like one-handed carryballs.
At least I hope so.
We're adding into boxes. So that's a nice little like bonus there you'll be able to find. The greedier you are, or the longer you take to get this mission done, the mission grows more and more difficult.
We built a new system, a new module, which we're calling the anti-up system. It allows us to spawn increasingly difficult waves of AI that will approach and attack the player while they're at a location.
The AI coming out of it grow more difficult, like through light, heavy, medium armors. The unlawful version of this, you're actually acting as the Ninetails, say. So you go into a UGF that's run by securities, and you have to kill the bosses that come out and get the data pad off of those.
I do a lot of bunker missions, so I'm excited to get some more variety in them. Unfortunately, like, I play more on the lawful side of things, so if it's like a bunker mission where I have to kill.
Now, my only thing against this is, it doesn't matter how many AIs you add or increase the difficulty of them, the AIs are still only going to react as well as the servers allow them to react. So it's kind of like, cool, a new thing. Shit, they're beholden to the servers and the shitty servers that we currently have. So it's going to be a cool new mission, but at the same time, they're going to be retards with rifles. Yeah, exactly, Phoebe. Yeah, and bullet sponges. I saw the heavy lieutenant, and they're all they do is bullet sponge. I'd like to see something different than that. But I don't think we're gonna get that for a while. You know, they keep displaying to us how the AI thinks and reacts and whatnot in their little breakdown videos, but I've never seen AI do things like that unless, you know, I was on a low pop server with, you know, a low tick rate and, you know, all the other golden things going on. It just doesn't happen very often.
Kill like security guards, I'll be less inclined to do it. But if it's shoot 9 tails and steal their stuff, then yeah, I'm all for it.
So the reputation ladder is going to be tied to these missions. A lot of players care about the reputation ladder themselves in completing that process. But as an extra incentive to climb it, they will unlock the harder tiers of this mission. And in the process of doing so, there will be more data pads that can drop across the mission. It will be more difficult to stay at the location, the more data pads you want to retrieve, and you can sift your way through the mission critical items and the extra items of the things you want, load them up.
Here's my thing, though. With PES and the amount of guys I just saw on screen, the bodies might make this mission area get really laggy and or to the point where collision stops working and you might fall through the planet. But that's just my speculation.
Get them out of the UGF onto your ship and away. So it's going to be all about how much players want to go for the extra bonus loot, whether it's worth the risk of staying if they are low on ammo or are being overwhelmed, or if they have enough friends to bring to them to the location, which versions of the mission that they do. So I think it's going to be really interesting, and it gives players the opportunity to do missions at their own pace and, you know, remain at the location as long as possible as the risk increases.
Since the inception of the loss system, we've had the issue where if someone trespassed on your ship, you would first be given away by the chat system saying that you joined the ship.
Gives your position away straight away. I've always disliked that notification, and it pops up whenever you enter any ship, not just your own. We had that popping up all the time when you went above the Javelin, say, in the Fleet Week.
Good morning,
so
Pops.
I'm happy to say that we're changing that now so that you'll only see that notification if you are a member of a party of the owner whose ship you're going aboard.
With the new implementation of the trespass system, the chat will no longer give you away, but it's not all benefits for the trespasser, because now the pilot can defend their ship without legal repercussions, which makes the trespasser at risk at all times.
We've basically made the interior of ships a trespass area for anyone who hasn't been invited aboard, and by invited we mean in a party with the owner of a ship. So imagine there are 2 players, they're in a party together, and then there's a third, like, trying to sneak aboard. The owner obviously enters a ship as normal, doesn't see anything. The party member, same, steps aboard, doesn't see anything. This third player trying to sneak aboard will see a private property warning and then be trespassing. But, you know, you step off, a few seconds later, that's fine. No one's allowed to shoot you anymore. You know, could have been a mistake. But if you stay aboard, you're just lawfully be allowed to be attacked by any owner of that ship or their party.
Does this mean even an armistice zone?
With you having the trespass settings for you and your party on a ship now, it just adds a little bit more of a risk for people who are trying to potentially grief or simply play through that game.
God damn it, it's not griefing, it's piracy, it's stealing, you've encouraged it. Stop using that freaking word. I hate it. I'm sorry, but I hate it. You have laid out in TOS what griefing is. Griefing is not stealing somebody's ship. Ugh.
Play loop, and they will know that they're trespassing and feel that extra danger when they board somebody else's ship as they are in a monitored area.
We're really excited to give you guys this. It's been a long time coming, we know, but it was just not as simple as the...
I really hope that this unlocks guns in Armistice Zone. So if somebody, like, you know, you're at Everest or, you know, Port Alisar or wherever you're at, and somebody sneaks onto your ship and, you know, you get that trespass notification, even though you're in Armistice Zone, I really hope you get to pull your weapon. Now, does that mean that the bad guy gets to pull his weapon as well, and then you can have a proper gunfight, or is it just the owner of the ship gets to have his gun out in Armistice Zone and you can kill the griefer on your ship? I want to know how this works out. Maybe I missed it, or maybe they're going to get to it.
Trespassing around areas, which was just a simple action area. This has so many edge cases, as you can imagine. You can actually nest trespassing, so you can have someone else's ship aboard your ship, and you can be in a trespass area, and we have to figure out like which trespass trumps the other trespassers. We also have to build in precautions. So say you're lured aboard a ship, you're invited to a party, and then they kick you from the party. You'll still be allowed to be aboard that ship until you leave. It's just that you won't be allowed to defend that ship lawfully anymore. Also, if you hurt anyone aboard that ship, you will instantly then be trespassing as well, and they'll be able to shoot you back lawfully. It's taken a lot more work than even we originally thought it would, but it's just going to be a real game changer.
It finally gives ship owners the right to defend themselves on their ships and fight back against the pesky pirates we have out there.
You're probably right, Simi. You're probably right.
One of the things farther ahead that we're working on is barge heist. It's basically taking what we know to be popular and fun in this game, so something like Jump Town, but we're making it have a finite resource and a much more interesting location.
What we're doing is allowing players to buy in information similar to how some of the salvage contracts work. And from there, they get the information about where this cargo barge is, owned by a Crusader, and happens to be just in the middle of this heist situation where the Ninetails are taking it over, and they're trying to take all this stuff from Crusader.
It's the barge that we use in Siege of Horizon, heavily modified, so there'll be lots of entrances and exits. What's great about using the barge is that we can put it anywhere on Crusader, you know, far away from the landing zones and anything that, you know, may cause performance to dip. So there should be no performance impacts.
Ooh, oh my goodness. You guys heard that? We're going to put this far away from other things so we don't get performance issues. Ooh, they're thinking about it. I know it sounds like an asshat thing to say, but they're actually going, hey, we got crappy servers. We're going to do what we can to make sure that we don't get performance dips. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you, CIG. Thank you.
We've placed a terminal, a cargo terminal, inside of the container interior of the barge. And when players find this terminal, they can turn it on to open various containers using different kinds of ID codes found in the environment.
Agree, Porkchop.
Basically, you...
So... This may be a hot take, it may not be. If this game... If this game wants to succeed where No Man's Sky doesn't, where Elite Dangerous is basically nobody plays it anymore, and be better than Starfield, you have to have PvP. The space dads, the space truckers, the Care Bears, the anti-griefers, they cannot take over this game and create a safe place verse. The entire verse can't be safe. There has to be PvP. There has to have it. Otherwise, there's no reason to play the game. And if there's no reason to play the game, then the game dies. Or in this case, the funding dries up and the game goes away before it even comes out. PvP is integral to this game's success. And Marcus and Porkchop just stated that they're spreading the PvP too far apart. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see more PvP accentuated things in this game, other than just, you know, what is it? The Nine Tails Blockade, Jump Town. There needs to be more PvP, because, you know, you look. I always hear, especially on industrialist YouTube channels or Twitch or Kick or, you know, whatever, them always talking about pirates. Oh, pirates. But then you ask them, you actually ask them, when was the last time you were pirated? Or the YouTube channel owner, when was the last time you were pirated? And most of the time I hear, I've been pirated twice in the last 2 years. I hear other guys, oh, I've been pirated 5 times since 3.18 has dropped. I've been pirated 4 times in this entire year. So from July of last year to June of this year, I've been pirated 4 times. If you're only getting pirated 4 or 5 times in a year, or 4 or 5 times in a 4-month period, the pirates aren't the boogeymen that you are making them out to be. See, Simmy and Uncle Porkchop are pointing out that there's rumors of a 200 player pop servers. That would be amazing. That would be great. I think that would force more PvP. More people would run into each other. And so right now on these 50 to 120 person servers that we get right now, I once advocated for escorts, but after doing some mining and hauling around my refined goods and talking to other cargo runners and then trying to do actual piracy, it's a lot harder than you think to just randomly pick out a ship and get them, snag them in your quantum snare and all of that other stuff. It's low percentage. So you know, it's very active in the way you do it. And like I said, I think 200 player pops would be amazing. Marcus does point out a legitimate issue behind that. The 200 player pop servers might rip the frame rates to shreds. Let me catch up on a couple more things. I hope 200 players happens. Not trust your servers though. Yep, piracy will become more frequent when the servers get larger, and the people who bury their heads in the sands are going to have a rude awakening. I agree with that, Squirrel Lord. This is my experience too. Piracy isn't a problem. Yeah, I don't see piracy as an issue, especially with as many guides that are out there for, like, look, if you're a space trucker and you watch the piracy guides, you have a leg up on those pirates. You know where they're going to be sitting. You know what they're going to be doing. You can zigzag your route a little bit on your way to drop off your refined materials, or to go and get your materials refined, or buy your next load to go sell somewhere else. There's many different ways to get away from pirates, or go around pirates if you're really that worried about it. Or you can hire escorts. I just don't see it with 50 to 100 player count servers really needing the escorts if you know how to take different routes. But anyways, I digress. Let's let this gentleman with the shiny head talk.
To unlock several cargo containers belonging to different companies, and different companies have different items in there.
So hopefully players will learn which containers might contain what types of materials based on the brands, right? Crusader Industries is transporting completely different types of loot.
Here's the thing, Mangies. If you're buying an $800 ship, more than likely that's a 6 to 20 person cruise ship. Eventually, you buying an $800 ship and not having 8 to 12 people running that ship, it's going to be near impossible for you to actually run that ship. So if you get pirated, you kind of deserve it. There will be eventually, they've talked about it, and I'm one of those guys that likes to talk about Star Citizen that is and not Star Citizen that will be, but there will eventually be, you know, low, mid, and high security areas, just like in Eve. And right now, the Stanton system is technically a mid security system. So, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And I agree with you, Mangies, but at the same time, like, it has to happen. And you also got to understand too that there's a lot of people that they don't want to pirate. So you have so already in Star Citizen you have a small population of people that like the PvP, and within that PvP population you have an even smaller population that actually wants to go out and pirate. So it's still never going to get as high. Like space truckers and the miners and all the industrial players, they're always, it's just like in nature, where the herbivores or omnivores have a 90% population density population versus the predators and whatnot. So it's a prey predator thing. You got 90% are prey, 10% are predator. That's about really where it's at. Hold on a second. PvE types. I next to never run into any piracy, even in places where I absolutely should. True, any potential pirate is normally tied up in PvP or something like that anyway. Didn't know about security statuses. It's kind of the point I was making. Piracy appears to me, but results of lacking PvP rather than deliberate interest in piracy. Yeah, I agree. Catch up, stranger. Catch up. I've been playing for a few months and I've only seen one instance of piracy in person. Yeah, it's very rare.
Then maybe say ArcCorp is.
The cargo containers open all in different rooms around that location. You're fighting
This
over
mission
every
does
single
look
box,
cool.
trying to hold down like a room. There's no way you can hold down the entire thing unless you hold all the entrances. The location is so like so much of a maze. You'll have people stumbling in
You're
and
all good
out
strangers.
of it, and lots of people wondering, you know, oh, is this person here to steal a box, or is he just trying to get through to the next room?
What we really wanted to achieve with this is give the players complete freedom of which side to take. You don't take a contract from Crusader asking for help, or from Ninetales wanting you to help them to take something.
In future, when we have reputation-based hostility and you can make friends with these guys, they will be your cover. So I can see plenty of exciting PvP action that's going to come from this mission.
Right.
So that's a brief look
But
at some
stranger,
of the
you're in
things
the
the mission
small
team has been
population.
working on recently. We can't wait to get in your hands, especially
And I know what you
the
do.
ship trespass system. That's going
And
to
I
change the
encourage
game
it.
completely. And yeah, I personally am really excited about Barge Heist. So thanks for watching.
That was cool.
Of course, as always, you're going to want to check out the public
So-
roadmap at the robertsspaceindustries.com website for details on when each aspect of their continuing work gets scheduled for a specific release. And as for what we learned this week, well, we learned that more platforms means more opportunities for adventure across the gaseous surface of the planet Crusader. That salvage gameplay can be utilized in interesting and creative ways to create new mission types. And that whenever that trespass system comes
Stranger
online,
knows,
a new
Obi.
day
Stranger
for
knows.
shipboarding PvP arrives with it. Yeah, it's one we've all been waiting for. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for exploring the process of game development with us, and we'll see you all here next week.
Yeah, if you don't cancel it. So that was Star Citizen, Inside Star Citizen. Good conversation points. I'm excited for a couple of the things that they're talking about. The rest is kind of The trespassing thing did sound really interesting. I want to see how well that actually works once it goes live, because there could be a lot of different issues with that, as we all know. It's Star Citizen does Star Citizen thingies.